Hello. Hello. And we are back again for another impromptu review. We are back again with another impromptu review for this past week's episode of Belle Collective. This is still season 3. This was episode 3, Lyin and Spyin. And yes, there was a lot of both. So that title is definitely befitting. Sorry if you hear all this noise in the background. I'm trying to get my life together back here. But let me go ahead and pop this up. If you are making your way into the room, make sure you go ahead and hit that live. I just said hit that live. Go ahead and hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Let's keep it lively in the chat. I love to see y'all's comments. Oh my God. Hey, Joseph. Very, very long time no see. Long time because on my behalf, because, you know, I be getting MIA sometimes. But oh my God, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you saw me. You saw me in my impromptu live and you stopped through. You know, we always get a good kiki going in the chat. I'm so glad to see you in here. But yeah, how are you feeling so far about this season, Joseph? Are you liking it? Are you not? Or how are you feeling? I can say straight off the top of my head right now that Aikisha is getting a lot of brownie points from me this season. I'm really liking her this season. You know, last season she kind of came in and rubbed a lot of us the wrong way, including much of the cast. But this season I'm really enjoying her so far. And Marie also, I think she's gotten a few, not as many as Aikisha, but she's gotten a few brownie points herself from me as well. I've heard, and I meant to pull this up, that she was kind of, I don't know if it was some tweets or what, but she has some comments about Latrice and her whole, you know, marriage situation. But yeah, said this might be the best season so far from what I'm seeing. Yeah, I really think that they took some things into consideration as far as viewer feedback last season, and it kind of implemented that into, you know, their storylines and the angle they're going to be approaching this season. So I'm not mad at it. But yeah, it's still early on, so let me not speak too soon, child. But so far, so good. So this episode, you know, we picked up right where we left off last week, and that was with Latrice and So Gucci. She was pulling her to the side to kind of figure out what's this tension I'm feeling. And honestly, you know, I understand why So Gucci thinks it is foul. I also understand from a business standpoint why I guess Latrice could have did it the way she did. But I also understand it, not even from a business standpoint, but from just seeing kind of the type of person Latrice is. I do feel like she doesn't really like confrontation, and her way, because she never really addressed So Gucci's feelings, and that's supposed to be your friend. Then you would think that you would be concerned at least for hurting her feelings, even if that wasn't your intention. And it just didn't really seem that way. And I feel like that's kind of what people do. And this is something that I've dealt with someone in my own life who I don't deem as someone who likes confrontation. I mean, no one likes it, but you know what I mean. Where they kind of do the awkward, like they don't really take ownership for their part in it, and that's kind of a way to keep the issue kind of at bay, I feel like. And that's kind of what Latrice was doing, and I feel like So Gucci probably clocked that. And going forward, I mean, I hope that's not going to completely dissolve their friendship, but at the same time, I completely understand if So Gucci's going to feel as though she needs to kind of handle Latrice with a long handle spoon, you know? So there's that. And then after that, Did I have anything else to say about Lyin? I don't think so. And I also like when Toguchi was like, I gotta quit expecting people to be me and take them for who they are. And I was like, if that's not something I've been telling my own self lately, child, like it really is, because a lot of times we treat people how we want to be treated, not knowing that that's just not that person, or that some people don't share in that same sentiment. So you really do yourself a disservice, honestly, if you continue to give so much of yourself. You're going to get burnt out. And you can't pour from an empty cup. So that was really all I had to say about that. And again, like I said in my past reviews, I never watched Dancing Dolls or anything like that. So I'm not familiar with Selena and this whole dynamic and their whole family and all that. So I did kind of peep that over the weekend. I want to say they were kind of going back and forth online, apparently. But again, I don't know. So I don't want to touch on that too much until we kind of see things blow up, I think, on the next episode. And their family in real life, so I would never want them to be going, toe to toe like that. But apparently they know better than we know. So I guess something happened off screen. And again, going back to what I was saying before about how Latrice kind of conducts herself, she was so quick to say, I've never done anything malicious towards you. And again, I think that was her way of trying to not engage in the confrontation. I don't know. It was just weird for me. And I feel like at first I was like, okay, maybe she just lacks awareness, but I think she's aware. I think she's very much aware. She just, the way that Latrice kind of engages with the other ladies and kind of just everybody, Joshy, everybody around her, I feel like that's her way of taking her power back, because she doesn't feel powerful in her marriage, at home, anything like that. And the way that she conducts herself in those interpersonal relationships, kind of, that's just that her way of just stepping into her own. And that's the way she can only exercise that, because at home, obviously, she probably has to be as quiet as a church mouse. Honestly, that's what it's giving. That's the type of toxicity that we're kind of seeing, to be honest with you. So, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. I can only speak from what we're seeing, but that's definitely how I'm feeling. So after that, Akeisha pays a visit to Joshy over at Goddess Links to get her face beat, honey. And I was not upset about Josh telling Akeisha what has been going down, because he was speaking about something that he endured. He was speaking for himself and something that he experienced, more so than him talking behind Latrice's back and airing out her business or anything like that. He was coming from the angle of, this is something that happened to me. I am upset. I am hurt, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to do right now in life. And I really, really enjoyed what Akeisha said to him, because she said exactly what I would have said. Please just have multiple backup plans, because clearly Latrice is not going to protect you in this situation. You need to have your own back. And obviously we can't be out here just, losing our source of income because you don't know how to assert yourself in your marriage. So I can't be upset at him for sharing that. And also, furthermore, sometimes things that go on behind closed doors, sometimes things that happen in people's households and stuff like that, and in their personal lives, sometimes that does need to be put into the forefront. Because can you imagine like, perfect example. Last night, I think I seen on the blogs some trigger warning. I seen, some horrible news, because we see nothing but horrible news, I feel like, every single day. But nonetheless, someone took the life of their own mother, and her daughter assisted her with hiding the body. And I'm just like, what? And I'm like, can you imagine if someone had not been calling and had not inserted themselves in that situation? Could you imagine that that is a crime that would have been covered up and no one would have known what happened to this lady? Like, so when I say some things that go on should be brought to the light, I'm meaning from a protective standpoint. I'm not meaning just to be up in your business, just to be up in your business. I'm meaning that in this case, I think it is a good thing that all of this that's going on in Latrice's home and her marriage is brought to the forefront. And again, I don't feel as though if Josh wasn't staying at the house, if Cliff had not came at him with the heat, because it sounds like, we didn't see it on the cameras, but it sounds like once those cameras stopped rolling last episode, in between the two, that Cliff got very aggressive, was yelling at Josh, threatening his job, which that is just ridiculous to me. That I don't like when people in my life, have issues, of course, but at the same time, I'm not going to just, not intervene and mediate a situation like that if I was her. But I feel as though the only reason why she didn't say anything, obviously, is probably because she knows that that's just not their dynamic. And for whatever reason, she won't wake up and smell the coffee. I do feel like, and later on in the episode, they speak about children and Latrice feeling as though like it's, just not on her radar right now or whatever. And I feel like it possibly could be on her radar, but it's very telling that she feels this way and she's with a person that I don't think that she should procreate with, but people are going to do what they want to do, of course. I feel as though a lot of times the point at which they just are like, enough is enough, is always different from person to person. So I feel like in Latrice's case, unfortunately, like I can almost see her somehow having a baby by this man. And I feel like only after that, maybe she will open her eyes. I hope it doesn't go down that route, because then oh boy, then she got to deal with him to a degree, kind of, for like, the rest of her life. But anyway, that's just what I think. Then again, I'm liking Akeisha. She's coming off a lot more humble this season, even when she was speaking about the Ferris Street project and how she's basically, she sent her stuff up. She's waiting to hear back and everything. I really would love to see that come to fruition, because I think that could be an excellent thing for the Jackson community. But that was really it for that scene. So then Latrice shows up at Letitia's office, and I'm sorry, but the first thing I could think about is how y'all supposed to be best friends. You got a whole wig extensions business. Why your homegirl's wig look like that, man? I feel like Letitia's wig looks like the worst wig on the entire own network right now. I'm sorry. My hair right now don't even look how I want it to look, but child, maybe that's why I'm not on screen. No, I'm just kidding. But no, like, why does her wig look like that? Jesus. I don't think Latrice wants a baby with Cliff specifically. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's giving like Cassie and Diddy, for instance. Look how long they were together for. Just using that as an example. And then they broke up, and then she went off, and now she's, I guess, living her best life, had a baby with somebody in a very short amount of time in comparison to the previous relationship. So sometimes, yes, I do feel as though, not even with children, but just like a lot of just different aspects in life, you are going to feel differently about those things sometimes, depending on the person you're with or your friends, family, whatever. Everybody sometimes can be influenced by the people around them when it pertains to certain things that they would never, they stay up and down. They never see themselves doing that. They never see themselves wanting that for themselves. And then they leave those situations. They put distance between them and those types of people or whatever. And they were like, oh, they wake up and they're like, wow, okay, so this is actually something I do want for myself. I never knew that this is something that I could be into. You know, it's to infiltrate one's mind is very, very powerful. I'm good on that. But nonetheless, they sit down, and I guess Latrice is trying to get some public speaking advice from Letitia. And I promise you once again, yes, did I just talk about her wig? Yes, I did. But I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I don't really follow anybody per se on these shows. I don't follow them after the season or anything like that. Whatever I see from their lives usually is by way of the blogs. So Letitia could very well be like doing all these speaking engagements and stuff like that. I just personally didn't know that, other than these brunches, what she's up to. So I was kind of like, oh, okay. So you're going to get advice from her. Okay, whatever. All right, cool. Taught me something new. Nonetheless, they sit down, and I feel like Latrice can't speak about herself or empowerment because she doesn't even know fully who she is right now in life. She doesn't feel empowered. She doesn't feel, it's basically like she's preaching, but she's not practicing what she's preaching. So I think that's kind of a part of why she wasn't able to speak so eloquently as she would have liked to. Hi, Feisty. Thanks for coming by. I only watch a show. I'm tuning in. You know, I'm gonna put you on to what's going on. What's going on in those Jackson, Mississippi streets, apparently. But yeah, I think that's kind of, Latrice is honestly her own biggest harm in a way. I want to say she's holding herself back from being at the levels in life that I feel like she could really truly be at. And then at the same time, we got Letitia over here trying to make it seem like she's stagnant only because of Glenn and fear of how he will react. You know, she's only there because of how he will react with her leaving. And I'm just like, if that is not the most telling statement in the world, you don't want to leave because of fear of how it will be or how he react when you leave or try to leave or whatever. Like, is that not a paradox in itself? And you should not be with somebody only because of fearing how things will go down when you try to exit that situation. That's not healthy. Why would you? When I say I can't be in the, like, couldn't be me, it's not me looking down on any of these ladies on the show. It's more of just saying, like, I refuse to be uncomfortable in my own home. This is supposed to be, you know, your home is supposed to be your sanctuary, your safe space. The world is so crazy right now. We all need at least, you know, a pocket in this world where we can go to seclude ourselves from the outside negativity. You can't even do that in your own home. This is me talking about Latrice, of course, obviously. She can't even be herself and just let loose or whatever out of probably fear of how Zaddy, how he's going to react. And then you got Letitia over here living in a way of she feels as though she can't leave. She's in a tethered to a situation that does not serve her because of how freaking boozy wannabe may react. Like, what? I can't do that. I refuse. I will be living in a cardboard box on the beach somewhere before I am uncomfortable to those levels. I refuse. I heard the men trash in Jackson. Yeah, the men, like, literally, there's not one man probably on this show other than Willie, Akeisha's husband. We haven't seen as much of him as some of the other husbands, so I don't want to group him into this just yet. But literally every dude on the show, like, it's not giving. If this is the example that they wanted to set, if they supposed to be the example of the type of men that you will come across in Jackson, then yes, oh thank God, because I couldn't. I'm good on that. I'm so good on that. So yeah, at that moment, I realized everything we're going to witness this season also is probably Cat. And I say that because of the fact that Letitia is saying that she don't want to leave the situation because of how he's going to be and all that, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, so basically you're about to take us on a ride of you moving back and forth, shuffling your feet back and forth between being in the marriage, out the marriage, or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I can't even really take her situation as serious because she don't even know where she's trying to be at in life on what's today, Tuesday? Yeah, she don't know. Anyway. And then we also see Tambra and Marie meet up. I feel like this whole entire scene was kind of pointless, to be honest with you, because Tambra is just going to deny, and she's going to deny. Tambra, what's she, a radio personality or whatever. She talks for a living pretty much. And I feel like with that, she kind of adopts these personas or this image that she wants to portray to the world. Sorry about that. I hope you didn't hear my phone ringing. That she wants to portray to the world. And I say that with her relationship, her friendship, everything. Sorry, y'all. Why does he keep 1 second? My husband keeps calling. Sorry, y'all. Oh my gosh. Sorry. But yeah, so I feel like she puts on like this image. On one hand, she's talking about, oh, I do want to be married, or I don't want to be married, or whatever. I want to move in, I want to move out, like with the relationship. And then over here with the friendships, if you don't like Akeisha, that's okay, but just stand on it. Like, why are you putting up this front like you didn't say what you said? And I feel like throughout that entire conversation, Marie, she was lying. Latrice is probably holding back on opportunities out of fear that Cliff's ego might be bruised if he sees her doing way better than him. And he'll probably say that she's being too masculine. Yeah, there will always be an issue. He's the type of person, and he comes from that type of mentality of anything that is outside of what I want you to do is going to always be wrong. I need to be superior and up here. Even I think next week we see him talking about, or has he already said it, that they not equals. He does not see her as an equal partner in the marriage. And I don't feel like that's something that you can just change somebody's mind on. And you shouldn't even want, I don't even want to be with somebody who I gotta change their mind to prove that I'm equal. Like, no, never. I'm good. I'm good. Not to mention, I feel like in this situation, or in situations, people want to say like, oh, they got with someone who is older because of like maturity or wisdom or blah blah blah. Not Cliff. I'm like, first of all, I feel like Latrice is not really as attracted to him as she tries to put on. That's for number one. And number two, I feel like even if that was the case, everything, how he conducts himself, screams insecure. And I'm not attracted to that type of insecurity. Like, you can't be, you popping up, basically tracking me and stuff like that. And this is coming from somebody who I do share locations with my husband. And that's not for no purposes like this, though. That's because we live on a whole opposite side of the country from family or anybody like that. And we need to know where each other are at in case something occurs. But in their situation, you popping up on her, you doing all this stuff. it's very, and it just shows insecure, and that is just so unattractive. If I was Latrice, I would be like, oh no, you gotta go. Like, because what is this giving you? Latrice just needs to get away from him and go and just focus on herself, because she went from being, you were having daddy issues since day one, I guess, of your life, and then to go from that to now having issues with this man who you're married to now for the other second phase of your life is just like, I can't. And it's also kind of like Stockholm syndrome-ish, I feel like, because she only really gets, how do I say? She only really gets up in arms about when someone says something kind of derogatory about Cliff, or sideways, make a sideways comment about him. I feel like that's the only time that she truly really comes with that energy and really gets upset. And we saw that this episode, I feel like, and that's, I don't know, that just gives me Stockholm syndrome. She also is kind of like a people pleaser. And again, I'm not saying any of this because I actually dislike her. I actually like Latrice, and I think that she could be killing it in life. For real. She really wanted to make that happen for herself. But she has to choose herself instead of choosing Cliff to be the forefront of her life. To be at the forefront of her life. But yeah, so like and I love how I went back to Latrice, because again, this whole scene with Tambra and Marie was, again, pretty pointless. I screamed when Marie called Tambra West Side Tam. I hollered. I don't know about y'all. But I was kind of confused though in the confessional when Marie like showed the picture of like Tambra's ex. Again, they talked about, has Tambra been proposed to before or engaged before? And Tambra said she's never been officially engaged, but she has gotten proposed to multiple times. She just didn't accept the proposal. And I'm just like, Marie, you're trying to get something out of this lady, and she's not going to give it to you. She can't even be honest with herself. Like, she moved in with this dude just to move out, just to put on for whatever reason. Like, moving on. We see Akeisha and Latrice meet up, and again, I'm not upset that Josh told Akeisha anything. at all, because I feel like it needed to be said because he was involved in something. And I feel like when Latrice got wind of the conversation that Akeisha and Josh had, she was more so upset that someone in her camp was telling her business or whatever. And I'm like, so you get more, so you're holding your friend accountable for something, but you don't even hold your husband accountable for his actions. And this, like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. I was just really confused by that. And that just made me, again, feel as though I'm glad that Josh said something. And this is when when they spoke about Latrice wanting children and the whole baby conversation came up. I feel like when Latrice reiterated the story, she wasn't really telling everything for what really happened. She was kind of doing that whole not really speaking of the true confrontation and kind of just withholding the details that really would have painted Cliff in the light that he needs to be painted in. I'm just not upset that he said anything like that. And I feel like if she's going to try to take that up with him, then she needs to be taking everything up with Cliff as well. So it's Tambra and Damon's date night. This was also a pointless scene, I feel like, because she was going on about how she had to make time because they're on different schedules. And I'm like, that's just what you do. Like, that's what I mean about she like puts on. I'm like, why is that even needing to be really said? Like, is it an inconvenience? Like, if it's such an inconvenience and you clearly don't want to be with this person, so it's like, why are we come on Tambra. But they go and eat or whatever, and she's talking about the podcast that she is thinking about starting up. And I think it's a really cute idea because obviously, yeah, you can't talk about everything on air, and sometimes you won't necessarily discuss those topics, and creating a podcast will give her the opportunity to do just that. I was kind of confused when Damon was like thinking that he was going to be a part of it. I'm like, this isn't even, y'all are not even in the same industry last time I checked. Like, why would you, unless they have like, yeah, like a couples segment or something, or like a special or whatever. I guess you can come make a cameo, right? But like, why did you, whatever. Anyway. Damon better not propose at the end of the season. That's all I know. Because I feel like this is what it's giving, that we're going to go on this roller coaster ride of ups and downs with them, just to, in the end, do a fake proposal. And I say fake because I don't see them getting married. I don't think that truly everything that Tambra is saying, as far as she wants this in her life, he's the one that she wants to create a family with, all this. I don't feel it. It's not translating to us viewers. Sorry. I feel like they are opposite in every kind of way. And me and my husband are opposite in a lot of ways. I think that, yeah, opposites can do attract. I think that you shouldn't necessarily be the same exact type of person in every single way, because you should be able to learn from one another. You should be able to teach one another things. If we both super hot-headed and we join forces, that could really cause some issues. So I get how being opposites can be a great thing. However, in their case, I just don't see, maybe it's not even opposites, I just don't see the chemistry, really. Okay, I don't see it. I don't. Do y'all see it? Because I don't. I think Josh is the vocal and outspoken sound that Latrice wishes she had about herself. But I get it. She's just a confrontational person, or at least when it comes to Cliff. I don't even think she's I think she doesn't like confrontation. I think that, again, she only gets to be like a little bit of she only shows an attraction, a confrontation, I feel like, when it has, yeah, something to do with Cliff or defending him or not showing what is really going on in, their marriage. Oh, okay. You said non-confrontational. I mean, hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion either way. Hey, sweet pea. Thank you for catching my live. So glad to have you. But yeah, I think that she needs to get away from him. She needs to get away from him. I think that that's probably something that she admires about Josh. That's probably something that she really enjoys about having him as a friend, I'm sure. But I really feel like she did him a disservice by, not saying something to him or defending him when Cliff was going at him, because I feel like it really got pretty heated and no one wants to speak on it, but I really do. I really feel like it got heated behind the scenes, and for her to apparently like stand there and not say anything, like, I'm just like, what? So Letitia and her wig show up to her new place. That's fully furnished condo or whatever. Marie is getting it put into her name, which I was kind of like, huh. I mean, not surprised though, because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Marie would get a place for me if I, asked her on a good day, I'm sure. So wasn't really surprised about that. And Glenn shows up and they all run, which I'm just like, see, I feel like this is these antics, but okay. I forgot this is Carlos King production. Anyway, but Glenn came in very hot. He came in saying things to Marie that clearly show that him and Letitia be pillow talking, and those are things that were not supposed to be repeated. I think that he needs to go away. He needs to get an Adam and Eve subscription, as well as he needs inpatient therapy at least probably like twice a week. I think that's what's needed. I think Letitia needs to go ahead and cut those ties. And by ties, I'm not saying keep them from a child, nothing like that. But she does need some distance between them. If what we're seeing is real life, then they really don't need to be together. Like, how he's acting is concerning. And I wouldn't want any parts of it. At all. I see why he probably gets along with Cliff. And at this point, honestly, I kind of see, I don't necessarily think, I think everybody on this show, obviously, respectively, has their own faults and deficiencies. And I feel like Glenn's is different from Cliff's, is different from JJ's, is different from, so on and so forth. But I feel like when it comes to Glenn, Letitia needs to do what she got to do once and for all, and not just stay tethered to something because you've been with this person for so long, because you share a child with them, because, again, fear of how they're going to react. Like, girl, come on now. And I feel like next week we kind of see a glimpse of him and what he's been going through as far as with his family. I think his grandmother's been ill. And I do think that is something that's serious. Like, yeah, you're allowed to obviously be upset and going through that, because we all deal with those types of situations differently. However, I still do not think that I hope she doesn't feel as though she needs to add that onto a list of reasons why she can't leave him. Because I feel like a lot of times we stay connected to people or situations because of this, or we're always looking for the next reason as to why we can't do this, and that just shows that you don't place yourself at the top of your list, and you really should, especially in her situation. And why is he so available to film this season? Like, this is another reason why I'm like, this has to be some BS, because the whole first season he was gone so much, and then now he's available so much. But I do also understand, is he a longshoreman? Right? Isn't he a longshoreman? I might give him a little bit of grace on that, just because I know that there's like a strike or whatever going on and stuff. So maybe that's why he's so available to film the season. But other than that, I'm like, I wish that he would just stay gone like he was going the first season. Marie, that's very nice of you to consider putting the property in your name, but you know Letitia likes to love on Glenn when she's in the mood. If anything goes wrong with that house, it's all on you. Yes, and that's why I said, Marie would lease a place for me. She would lease me a car, a place. She paid for the rest of this master's degree for me. She probably would do, just about anything if I asked her. If we all asked her, I'm sure, Joseph, because we learned last season that Marie will hold the whole world on her back, just because that's the type of person she is. So I'm not surprised that she did that. And I do feel exactly how you're saying that. Letitia, Latrice, it's too many L's names. I do feel like Letitia is very fickle when it comes to how she wants to navigate her marriage. So would I have done the same thing? No. If I got a spare bedroom, yeah, maybe you can stay here for like a couple weeks to kind of get your bearings together. But am I going to go am I going to go put a place in my name for you? Probably not, when I know that all he got to do is hit you up and give you some woe is me sob story, and you're going to go right back running over there. Nah, couldn't be me. Yeah, longshoremen stay going just like truck drivers. He must got time this season. I'm saying, because they're on strike. I literally was talking about this last night in class, that there is, economically they're on strike right now or whatever, a lot of them. So maybe again, that's why, and everything that's kind of going on with the imports and exports and everything. I'm assuming that's hopefully got something to do with why he's so available. If not, it's because their whole situation is capped, and he just wanted to be seen, and she wanted to use this as a part of her storyline. But that was really it, y'all. That was really it for this episode. Like I said in the beginning, still enjoying, still really liking the show. This is if you ask me, this is the best show that Carlos has right now. So I'm still gonna be tuning in. I made sure to get this live out. It wasn't out as early as I would like it to have been, but I didn't wait until too late this week. So we're getting there, y'all. But that was really it for this episode. Unless you guys have any other things you want to say or bring up, I will go ahead and get out of here for now. I will be back at 4:15 Pacific time. Me and California Cutie, my sis, we will be back, and we'll be doing a 2-parter for Real Housewives of Atlanta, because we missed last week. So we'll be on there for quite a bit. So please definitely turn on your post notifications, so when we hit that live, and we'll have a nice little kiki over there. And as well, I got some other things coming up. So always, again, stay tuned. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, comments, Playback Gang comments. I've really been trying to be very persistent in engaging in the comment section. So don't be afraid to leave a couple comments for your girl, and share. Please share, because YouTube just don't be telling people that we here trying to grow the channel, trying to engage with and expand my community on here. So please do all of the above. Not the problem is there's too many A's at the end of the name, which can become confusing sometimes. Letitia, Akeisha, Sophia, and Tambra. Maybe that's what it is. And I was trying to talk fast, and it was just coming out how I wanted to come out. So perhaps. I'm grateful for all of you that did catch this live. It never goes unnoticed. I will be back again next week. And I'll be back in and out throughout, next couple days too. So definitely stay tuned, and I will see you guys in just a few hours for Roja. All right. Bye.